two very simple, basic factors here, which if we don't get right, we don't have a meaningful climate agreement. One, leave trees standing. Two, leave fossil fuels in the ground. It can be done, but it is a huge challenge. It requires a global economic revolution to make that happen, to switch away from fossil fuels. The danger is that we'll see, if the price is right, a lot of companies and a lot of governments beginning to invest in renewables, but not disinvesting from fossil fuels. Unless those renewables substitute the fossil fuels rather than supplementing the fossil fuels, they won't solve the problem. It's a bit like saying, well, okay, I ate 2 Big Macs, a chocolate fudge cake and an ice cream today, but I also had a salad, so I must be losing weight. Unless you eat the salad instead of the chocolate fudge cake, you're not going to lose any weight.
Zone of Christiana after the colonized zone of the Bella Center.
The negotiations within the COPs are not representing the people's voice, especially not the voice of indigenous people, women and other vulnerable groups. More than 400 organizations representing millions of people from all corners of this planet have reached a deal, a people's declaration. We have managed to unite along common goals to address climate crisis, global injustices, and stressing real solutions for a just and sustainable future.
The facts are dead simple. We know what caused the climate crisis. It's greenhouse gas emissions. We know where they were produced. 75 to 80% of them were produced in the rich world by 20% of the world's population. That's you, that's me in Canada, that's the whole EU. We created the emissions that are warming this planet to catastrophic levels. The problem is that out of some cruel geographic irony, the effects of our emissions are overwhelmingly being felt in those countries that did the absolute least to produce this crisis. And here's the catch. We know the truth, we've read the science, and we refuse to change our behavior. So there is a very angry, a righteous anger that is emerging from the global south. And it has a voice here in Copenhagen. It isn't going to end up in the final document of whatever deal they try to sell, but it is finding a voice.
We face a common threat to which we must react now. We cannot afford to wait until tomorrow. The solutions are among the people. Listen to them.
We're playing the Planetary Pledge Pyramid game. It's very simple. We have got quite a lot of money already pledged, about $3,000. I will say as well, there are probably about 100 people watching this online as well. We had over 100 ideas submitted. It's very simple. We're just trying to decide how to spend this money. We've got a few ideas up on the board so far. It's going to be about voting on those ideas and narrowing them down.
Teach people to make food without meat.
Stoves run on solar energy. And
spreading education in developing countries.
Recycling the nuclear missiles to make green energy. Spending the money on legal support for activists.
For urban farming, so everybody has a garden on the balcony or on the roof, this would really make a difference, I feel.
Capture, compress and store vehicles' exhaust gases, then recycle them.
If all electricity was produced from renewable in Europe, it will cost $10 a year additional on your electricity bill, which is basically nothing.
Here is a cloth bag that you can use. For $10, you can get a bag that will last you the rest of your life, but not the rest of everyone else's life and the whole future history of the world. And look, it's cotton. Of course, it's not organic cotton. which means it was grown with huge amounts of fertilizers and pesticides made from what? Oil? Oh, Jesus Christ, we are screwed. Well, just take the plastic bag. I don't care, but I just want to be clear that none of this is fine.
We in the rich world owe a debt that we will never repay. We'll never be able to repay, because unlike the way this is covered in the media, as if it's just poor countries asking for money, it's not about money. You can't repair the loss of life, of nature, of biodiversity. But to begin to repair, we need to acknowledge that debt.
The real face of climate change, or the first face of climate change, is the face of people without water. Close to 2 billion people in our world now live in parts of the world without access to enough clean water. Close to 3 billion people have to walk more than a kilometer to get fresh water of any kind, whether it's contaminated or not. And every 8 seconds somewhere in our world, someone dies of waterborne disease. A child dies of waterborne disease.
And why? It's all because of man. It's all because of our stupid ideas, how we wanted to be rich, to own everything. But come on, it's so pity.
Everywhere in the world, if you have money, you can buy water, and if you don't, you have to do without and watch your children die in the most awful way that's possible.
Bolivia is not fighting for a good deal. Africa is not fighting for a good deal. They're trying to stop a disastrous deal from being imposed on them. And this is where you come in.
It doesn't just end today. The People's Assembly and the horizontal process starts today, and it goes on until we have climate justice.